It's time for Wise Money with Korhorn Financial Group with certified financial planners Kevin Korhorn, Mike Bernard, and Josh Gregory.
Welcome to another episode of the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group, where every week we're helping you take your next wise step in your financial life. Thanks for being here, friends. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm your host. I'm also one of the certified financial planners on the program. And with me in the KFG studios, my business partners and fellow CFPs, Kevin Korhorn and Josh Gregory.
Today we're breaking down two advanced tax planning strategies, the Backdoor Roth IRA and the Mega Backdoor Roth IRA. So how do these strategies work, and when should you consider one or the other, and which one's better? All of that and more on this hour of the Wise Money Show.
Okay, so here you need to know this. As soon as Kevin takes one step into the studio and he says something about the temperature in here, and so he did something, I think he might be pumping some like laughing gas. We're already a little silly.
I don't know.
So we'll see. We'll see what's ahead. If you have a question for the program, we would love to hear from you. Or if you need any help, second opinion, we're there for you. Call or text us 574-222-2000. That's 574-222-2000. Online, wisemoneyshow.com is where you can find us. Connect with us there as well. Learn more about the show, about the firm. And then all over social media, wherever you're at, we are there as well. Search The Wise Money Show. Okay, so tax planning is a discipline. It's the discipline of proactively looking at your tax picture, both today, this year, and in the future, and identifying what strategies exist for you to pay the least amount of tax over your lifetime, quite possibly multiple lifetimes. It's often how it goes. And then financial planning is then taking a look at those possibilities and saying, well, which ones make the cut? Which ones make sense? Or are there ones, tax planning strategies that are at odds with some other areas of your financial life? So with that in mind, we are breaking down, like Kevin said, two, I would say, used to be sort of secret tax planning strategies that have maybe gone more mainstream, or maybe you've heard of them a little bit, the Backdoor Roth IRA, and then the Mega Backdoor Roth IRA. And guys, I haven't made up rules. I don't know the context, but they're going head to head. They're going to battle it off. We're going to declare a winner. Which one is better? But first, we need to explain how they work.
Well, they both have Roth in the name, right? They're strategies related to the Roth IRA, and it's because we're always, our industry now is always looking for ways to get more money into a Roth IRA because it's such a powerful tax shelter for you.
Yeah.
And anytime that you can, these principles, they can apply to your 401k, any tax shelter that you have at your disposal. You need to be at least considering, how do I use this thing? How do I use this as a tool to leverage its strengths, some of the things that it brings into your financial life to make your tax picture better? Because that's really the principle of these tax shelters. It can separate, or it can, in many ways, change the timing of how you pay taxes. Normally, when you earn a paycheck, you pay taxes on it immediately, you dump it into your bank account, and it sits there for as long as it sits there, and it's earning, it's growing, whatever, you're going to pay tax on the growth along the way. When you go to spend the money, you don't pay tax. Tax shelters, things like 401ks, Roth IRAs, they give you the ability to change some of the timing on when you pay the taxes. So we love these tax shelters, but the Roth is one that you have to be considering, you have to be educating yourself on, and these are just a couple strategies that help you get more money into the Roth.
Yeah, these strategies are not simple, and they don't apply to everyone. So if you're listening today, this may or may not apply to you. If it doesn't apply to you, you may know someone who it might apply to, and it's great stuff to know. I mean, this gets to the heart of what we're trying to do on the Wise Money Show, which is to help people understand. And Mike, you said these were secrets. I believe that we haven't done a great job. If you say, well, who should be talking to whom about these strategies? And I think, well, most people would say I get my financial guidance and advice from my CPA. And this is not I'm not throwing shade on CPAs, but most people have a relationship where they get their taxes prepared. They don't get tax planning, because I've seen many situations where folks come to us and they're seeking financial wisdom, and they haven't gotten it.
Yeah.
And I think, well, why not? You have someone who prepares your taxes. They should notice, hey, here's an opportunity here. You have someone who's helping them with their investments. That person should be saying, hey, here's an opportunity here. And it's not happening. So is it a secret? I don't know that it's a secret. It just hasn't been well communicated to the people that it applies to, and to help them understand, hey, here's an opportunity. Because to Joshua's point, if I've got money that is growing somewhere and I'm paying taxes on the growth, and I have an opportunity to never pay taxes on the growth, I need to at least consider it. I'm not saying that's for sure what you should do, but that certainly has to be on my radar screen.
And that's the hallmark of the Roth IRA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every Roth IRA has money inside of an account that has already been taxed. The contributions or the money that went into the account could be conversions. We're going to unpack all that. But the new money that went into the Roth IRA has already been taxed. But as it's growing, as it's compounding over time, you're not paying tax on that growth. And when you pull money out of the Roth IRA and you're ready to spend it, presumably in retirement, you pull your original money out tax-free because it's already been taxed, and the growth comes out tax-free as well. There's nothing else out there. Maybe, I guess you could say an HSA, provides this as well, but no other retirement nest egg that you're going to build up where it's that powerful, right? It gives you that kind of ability to avoid taxes. All that growth could be the lion's share of your account decades out there in the future. And if the lion's share of the money ends up never getting taxed, how powerful is that?
Just for the record, I get teased about adding a middle name to my name. But you guys are really, I think you've jumped on the bandwagon here with the Roth. I'm just sitting back observing and I'm proud. I'm proud.
Well, thanks, Mike.
This is great.
Yeah, it's nice to be at your party, Michael, Paul, Roth, Bernard.
All right, so here we go. I don't know the rules, but we're gonna have them battle it out. We will declare a winner. Which one's better, the Backdoor Roth or the Mega Backdoor Roth? Don't draw any conclusions based on the name. So let's start with a Backdoor Roth, guys. You set the table on how a Roth works or with the benefits. What's a backdoor Roth? Why? How does that work?
Well, there are individuals who earn too much money to be able to contribute directly into a Roth IRA. There are income limits, and you may not be eligible to contribute directly. So what our industry has done, they've kind of found a backdoor way. It's kind of a workaround, essentially, that allows you to contribute to a traditional IRA instead, and then do a second maneuver, which is the second way you get money into a Roth IRA, and that's through a Roth conversion. And what people will do is they'll contribute to the traditional IRA, and they're contributing money that has already been taxed. It's after-tax money, which means it gave them no tax benefit up front. The dollars are already taxed, as I was saying earlier, that the money has to be already taxed in order to even go into the Roth IRA. So that's already handled. You do this Roth conversion immediately or quickly after your contribution, and it's essentially a two-step method of getting money into a Roth, since a one-step method of contributing it directly isn't available to you.
Yeah, in 2024, it's $146,000 for single filers, and it's $230,000 for those filing jointly. So you're making a pretty decent wage, and you get phased out of the ability to go directly into the Roth IRA. And as to Josh's point, I can get money in there two ways: contribute or convert.
So those, if your income's above modified adjusted gross income. So let's be specific, even though that makes no sense to anyone. But that's your income level. And by the way, if you're married, it's not your income. It's not even just your wages. It's what lands on your tax return. Modified adjusted gross income, all the stuff. It's got to be below 230 for married.
And to make it a little more complicated, I mean that's the max I can put in the max if I make 146 or below or 230 or below. You're fully phased out at 161 or 240.
It's pretty, short runway there. But then you can't contribute directly to a Roth, but you can contribute to an IRA. And there's income thresholds in order to be able to deduct that IRA contribution. But if your income levels are above for the Roth, then they're above for the deductibility. So you contribute to the IRA and not deduct it, and then you do that step 2, the maneuver. When does it make sense to do that? When does it not make sense to do that? We've got that and more coming up on the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for being here. This is the Wise Money Show. What you're watching right now is our weekly 1-hour talk show that airs right here on this channel, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, every Saturday morning, also on podcast as well, but also on a couple local radio stations. It's a talk show. You can already tell. We meander around and try to hit all the try to hit topics in a thorough way so that you can understand them and know when to apply them. But if you're looking for content that's more direct, that takes one financial concept, applies it directly to your financial life, helps you have a comprehensive perspective on your finances, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, because we drop videos, content about that every single day of the week, Monday through Friday. So turn on notifications. Make sure you subscribe, then turn on notifications so you're made aware as well. If you like the content, we appreciate it.
I think it might be helpful if we make the distinction between Roth IRA and I would call it a traditional IRA.
Okay.
Because it's confusing when you say Roth IRA and IRA, at least to me. And so I think that would be helpful.
Sure.
Got it.
And I think, all right, it's because I wanted to say your adjusted gross income. It's not your adjusted gross income. It's your modified adjused gross income, which you have to.
What are the modifications? No one knows. Yeah. They just make it up.
Student loan interest deduction, foreign earned income and housing exclusions, and foreign housing deduction. What?
Of course. I would have guessed that.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So when does it make sense? When does it not make sense? And then Mega Backdoor. Got it. All right. Head to head, which one's better? Which one makes more sense for you? The Backdoor Roth IRA, the Mega Backdoor Roth IRA. If you have no idea what either of those things mean, we're helping you with that as well. This is the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group. Thanks for being here. My name is Mike Bernard. With me in the KFG studios, Kevin Korhorn and Josh Gregory. Stay up to date on all Wise Money content. Find us online, wisemoneyshow.com, and then all over social media, wherever you're at. We are there as well. Search the Wise Money Show. That's right. We're talking about the Backdoor Roth IRA strategy and the Mega Backdoor Roth IRA strategy. How do each of them work? What makes them different? When would they apply? When would they not apply? It's very possible these cool-sounding strategies are not appropriate for you, and that's okay. But if they are available, or both of them are, which one's better? And so we're working up towards that, guys. We're still with the Backdoor Roth, and we set the table that the Backdoor Roth strategy is where you can contribute to a traditional IRA, not a Roth IRA. Contribute to a traditional IRA, but you don't deduct your contribution, and therefore it's after-tax money in there. You're allowed to do that, even if you make a lot of money. You're allowed to make that contribution. By the way, we haven't said this yet. You need to have earned income. You need to make money, and a pension doesn't count. Interest income doesn't count. You've got to have earnings, paycheck money, as Josh says. But then step 2, after you put this after-tax money into your IRA, you can then do a Roth conversion where you move that after-tax money into the Roth IRA. So who's this a good fit for? Who should consider it?
Well, one point that I want to clarify is what you just said. Anyone can contribute to a traditional IRA. It doesn't matter what your income is, and it can be confusing because I've met folks with very high incomes, and they are maxing out their 401ks, and they said, well, that's all we can do. And that's not all you can do, because there are different tax shelters that you can contribute to, and it's all set up in the tax code, which is very intuitive. And you could say, all right, I can, if I'm at work and I've got a 401k at work, I can max that. So I can put 30 grand in there if I'm 50 plus. $30,500 to be exact. Or in addition to that, I can also, if I'm 50 plus, put $8,000 into an IRA. I could put it into a traditional IRA, which could be pre-tax or after-tax, or I could put it into a Roth IRA. Now, the only monies going into a Roth IRA are after-tax monies. So I have my choice. So because I've been thinking about this, which one is better, and you're making this like who gets voted off the island and I'm saying that the one that you can use is the best one.
Kevin.
Now what are we going to talk about for the next
Did you hear me?
segments?
I said we're going to explain them, and then we're going to mano.
I know, but there are
What are you doing?
There are some people that are saying I don't have time to get to the end, and I couldn't. I'm sorry, my filter wasn't working, Mike. But so think about this: if I'm eligible, if I make too much money, if I'm north of 240 as a married couple, I put money in the traditional IRA. I can't deduct it because actually the deductibility limits for an IRA are considerably lower than they are for even contributing to a Roth IRA. So I can't deduct that money. So it goes in after tax, and then I convert it from the traditional IRA to the Roth IRA. Now, the thing that gets a lot of people hung up, because there are a lot of people listening saying, okay, well, I'm going to run right out and do that. Yes, unless I've got traditional IRA money that's never been taxed, because I can't just put the money in and take it right off the top of that pile. I have to take the money, I basically have to cut a line through the pile, and whatever proportion after tax and before tax money, because what could happen is I'm creating a taxable event. Well, if I'm north of the limits to be able to even fund a Roth IRA, I probably don't want to bring more income onto my tax return. So this is where you have to be really careful, because you could have a traditional IRA, you could have a simple IRA, and it's not that confusing if you spend all day, every day doing it, but it can be pretty doggone confusing if you don't understand the rules and the levers and which ones that you can pull or not. But our belief is, no matter what, if you're able, fund the tax shelters up to their limits every year. And if you say, well, I can put money in a traditional IRA after tax, and but I can't convert it because I've got all this IRA money sitting out there, I would say that's okay. Get that money sitting there. We might have a solution for you later.
Okay. My head is spinning.
Mine too.
There are so many IRAs, and I'm sitting here listening, trying to think, okay, someone who doesn't live and breathe this stuff all day, every day, how do you make sense of all of these different IRA vehicles? Because we're talking about traditional IRAs, we're talking about Roth IRAs, and then there's this in-between state of a traditional IRA that has already taxed money inside of it.
Right.
And I think that's worth unpacking. Like you got to get this sorted out in your mind, and it may take listening to something like this. It may take some YouTube videos, whatever, to have this straightened out after 3 or 4 listens potentially. But here's the thing: when we talk about a backdoor Roth contribution, what we're saying is we're talking about a 2-step process where you contribute money not directly to the Roth IRA, but instead to a traditional IRA, and you are using already taxed money to do it. That's not normally how most people contribute to a traditional IRA. Most people, they get a tax write-off, a tax deduction when they contribute. That's why they contribute, because they're lowering their tax bill this year. But you're doing the opposite when you contribute already taxed money. And the reason you contribute the already taxed money is because you're not eligible to do the more traditional approach. But why not just dump the money into that traditional IRA with already taxed dollars and just let it grow? And someday get out there to retirement and spend the money then. The reason you wouldn't do that is because the traditional IRA, as it's growing, you're not paying tax along the way, but when you get to retirement, you will pay tax on the growth.
Yep.
And that's the whole magic of the Roth IRA that we love so much. So, they both have after-tax dollars in them, both the traditional IRA and the Roth, but only one of them gives you the power of no tax on the growth when you get to retirement. That's the Roth. And so it's the reason why we don't let the money just sit there in the traditional IRA, even though it's already been taxed, it's going to grow without being taxed along the way. But we want it to be tax-free when you get to retirement. The only way to do that is to take the second step, which is what makes it the backdoor Roth contribution. And that's to convert the money from that traditional IRA into the Roth. You have to do both steps. And you usually want to do both steps immediately because you don't want to let the growth start accumulating in that place where it will eventually get taxed.
And that's preferable. And at the risk of confusing things here, if I have $400,000 in a traditional IRA that I've never paid taxes on, you say, well, should I even consider this strategy? Absolutely, because it's likely if you have that kind of money and it's sitting in a traditional IRA that you've never paid taxes on, and you've got 20 years to retirement, that after-tax contribution that doesn't get converted right away is powerful. The tax deferral, and Josh is right, the growth on that is going to be taxable, but the tax deferral, if I'm high income, is so powerful that I would consider doing that. Mm-hmm. And in the same way, you separate an egg yolk from the egg whites when you're cooking. My boys eat like a dozen eggs each in the morning. They'll have 6 regular eggs and then they'll do 6 egg whites. And I think, how in the world can they do that? But that's the idea. You do the old separator, but you do the separator right when you're on the verge of retirement, and you take your before tax money, roll it into your 401k, and you take your after tax money and convert it. Because if I've got only after tax money in my traditional IRA, I can convert all that. So I make 10 years of contributions. I've got 80 grand in there of after tax. I'm not worried about the growth because I got the tax deferral on that. That was super powerful. Mm-hmm. And then I just convert. I do the separation program, and there's an opportunity there.
All right. So we said it, I think, 3 or 4 times, the concept of the backdoor Roth. Hopefully it makes sense. It is confusing. You think that's confusing. Wait till you hear about the Mega Backdoor Roth IRA. So we've got that and more coming up on the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group. I think we're going to listen back to that segment, and we might declare it one of the worst ones of our history.
It's so technical.
I know. And I do think, so we're halfway through the show, I think we've explained the same thing
3 times.
Yeah.
Well, can I summarize the explanation then?
I think we did.
Let's have that be bonus content.
Okay, so then let's be...
So where I was wanting to go is, okay, so we explained it. Now, so who's it make sense for and who's it not make sense for? And we jumbled that up. So, but I don't think we can try and
redeem it.
We need to move forward. So Mega Backdoor Roth. That's where we're going.
Well, so we have to skim the wave tops then. This is not a deep dive on the Mega Backdoor.
Yeah, we need to make it a little bit clearer than we made the Backdoor Roth. And I know we can do it. I know. But
with a whiteboard.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. What's the Mega Backdoor Roth? I don't know if you've heard about this. It's certainly not a term we came up with, but what's it mean and when does it make sense? That's what we're helping with right now. This is the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group. Thanks for being here. My name is Mike Bernard. With me in the KFG studios, Kevin Korhorn and Josh Gregory. Every episode of the Wise Money Show is on the YouTube channel. Go check it out. Go to YouTube, search the Wise Money Show. Subscribe to the channel and follow us there. Turn on notifications so you're made aware every time we drop new content. We've gotten super technical in this show. That is okay. Hopefully you've been able to hang with it. But we've got lots of other content, over 1,000 videos right there on the YouTube channel. We've talked about the Mega Backdoor before, and it takes a few times of going through this stuff for it to make sense. So check us out on YouTube, search the Wise Money Show. Okay, guys. I don't know if anyone was able to hang with us there, but let's pivot over to the Mega Backdoor Roth, because this is different. In the Mega Backdoor Roth, specifically not saying Mega Backdoor Roth IRA, because the Mega Backdoor Roth really hinges on your 401k plan through your employer. So that's the first limitation. Do you have an employer with a 401k? And then second, does your 401k offer after-tax contributions? And you're probably thinking, well, of course it does. I can contribute pre-tax or Roth, and Roth is after-tax, so bingo. No. There's actually 3 ways to contribute to your 401k. Josh, you want to explain it?
Well, yeah, and that is the confusion, because a lot of people, for your entire working career, maybe for decades, you've been contributing to a 401k, and you've been contributing on a pre-tax basis. In other words, every dollar that goes into the 401k is reducing your income that year and saving you some taxes. That's how most people think of a 401k. It's a traditional approach to contributing. In more recent years, Roth 401k contributions have been allowed, and essentially if you choose to do a Roth contribution to your 401k, you're saying, I don't need the tax savings right now. I'm in a low enough tax bracket. I would rather pay the tax and then contribute so that the money grows tax-free forever and it gets all those benefits of the Roth. And then that is where most people's understanding of a 401k stops. But your 401k may have an option available to it for a third type of contribution, which Mike referred to as after tax. It's like the Roth, where you are saying, I'm not contributing and getting a tax benefit now. I'm instead going to get a tax benefit out there in the future because the money is already taxed. That money can start to build up in your 401k. And it does, as it's accumulating growth and everything, the growth will eventually get taxed just like all your traditional 401k contributions would. But the contributions that you made, those extra contributions, this third type, could someday be rolled into a Roth IRA and continue to grow tax-free forever.
It actually could get even better than that. So here's the thing. Your pre-tax or Roth contributions to your 401k share the same contribution limit. You can contribute up to 100% of your income or $23,000, whichever is lower. If you're experienced in life, i.e. age 50 or older, you get an extra $7,500 on top of that. And so you can do pre-tax contributions up to that limit or Roth contributions up to that limit. But there's actually another limit that most people don't talk about, they're not aware of. It's a fancy term called a 415 limit. And the IRS sets that as sort of a no. All everything else it's set aside, maximum that can go into your 401k, including profit share or including a match and everything, can't exceed this number. They call that a 415 limit. That's $69,000 in 2024, plus the $7,500 catch-up contribution. So $76,500 is the 415 limit, okay? Wait, so you can contribute $23,000 or $30,500 pre-tax or Roth, and then you've got to apply the company match if you're getting a match, but then it can't all exceed this $69,000, we'll say that. Right, the difference between that's what you can contribute after tax. Right. So you can contribute after tax above and beyond the $23,000 or the $30,500. You can put extra money in there. You just can't get a deduction on it. Mm-hmm. And then, Josh, you were saying later on you can then convert that.
Could be same year.
You could do it immediately. And a lot of these plans now are offering in-plan conversion, so you can do it right there in the plan. We prefer rolling or converting it to your Roth IRA. You get more diversification there, but you could also just do it within your 401k.
And that you said if your plan allows it, right?
Yeah.
And so this is one of those things where unfortunately we can't just make a blanket statement and say, hey, rush out and go do this. You have to go do a little research. You need to check to see if your retirement plan at work allows for this type of feature. Not only to do after-tax contributions, but then to immediately be able to roll those dollars out into your Roth IRA while you're still working there. So if that's not the case, then it just means that someday when you're not working there because you retired or you left the company, then you would have the option of rolling the dollars to the Roth. But again, you have to know whether or not the features or the rule book for your 401k allows for this.
So, go ahead, Kevin.
No, so this is very complicated because if you listen, you think, okay, sweet, I really can get between my contributions, my employer contributions, and then the after-tax contributions, I can get up to $69,000 if I'm 49 or younger. And that is true, again, if the plan allows it. And it is confusing because you think, okay, well, sweet, I can do this. Who does this really apply to? There are a few big employers. Chevron is one that allows for something like this. There are some other companies that allow for this to happen. And then, but if you said, well, who is this really a great tool for? It's really a great tool if you are self-employed and the only person there. Because you can do this, you can set this up with a single K. Now, not every single K is created equal. This is where you want to be working closely with your advisor, because if you said, hey, I'm just going to go out and open a single K, it's likely that you will not include these provisions in a plan, and it's likely that the person on the other end of the 800 number doesn't know what you're talking about.
Right.
So this is where you want to be working closely with an advisor. This does bring on some complexity, but if you qualify for this, it is incredibly well worth it.
Yeah, so you have to qualify. You also have to have the resources to be able to pull it off.
Yes.
Right? I mean, we're talking monster contributions here. You've already maxed out your 401k or your or whatever during the year. Maybe you've maxed out Roth contributions. Like you've been contributing a lot of money. Who's able to do that? People with really high income could do it year after year. There may be some people who get some dollars dropped in their lap that they weren't expecting. Could be an inheritance, could be a big bonus. Maybe you sold a property and you have some extra liquidity so you could do this one year. But again, this is where your financial planning and your tax planning needs to be constantly adjusting, constantly looking to see, well, what's different about this year? Is there anything changing in my financial life that makes this year a great year to do something like a Mega Backdoor Roth IRA?
Yeah.
Or Roth contribution, rather.
Right. So who's this? So that's who it's for, right? You have to have a 401k. You have to have this feature available, after-tax contribution, and you need to have the income or the resources, okay? Who's it not for? Well, that would be obvious, okay, the opposite of all those. But I would add one other who it's not for. If you've got the resources, but in looking at your comprehensive financial plan, those dollars really have a different job to do. If these extra dollars or this inheritance money or whatever, if the job is it's to help with your retirement, your financial future, then you need to be working with the CFP to see if this is a viable option and one you should consider. But if the job of these dollars are for something different, help with college planning or help with a different financial goal, then this is a cool strategy that you just need to put on the back burner and consider out there in the future. Yes. So it all boils down to working with your CFP, who's helping creatively come up with different ways for you to improve your tax situation. As I said earlier in the program, paying the least amount of tax in your lifetime, because this isn't going to help you pay less tax today. But how could you pay less tax over your lifetime, if not multiple lifetimes? And if this is one of the strategies that is available to you, then looking at all 6 areas of your financial life to say, okay, is it one that we should implement, or should these dollars go somewhere else? All right, hopefully that explains the Backdoor Roth, the Mega Backdoor Roth. Which one wins? We've got that and more coming up on the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group. All right.
So funny. Okay.
So, fourth segment.
Do we deal, and maybe this is just bonus content, but the people that are wondering, does this apply to me? I can't do it out of my income necessarily, but this is where creativity comes in, because if you have an inheritance or if you got a big pile of money somewhere else, you can move money from one pocket to another. So that to me is one thing. And the other reason that you said, hey, move it out of the plan to a Roth IRA for better diversification, which I agree with, but to me, it's not just better diversification; it's accessibility.
Yeah, got access to that money.
To me, the Roth IRA represents freedom.
Yeah.
The Roth IRA in my 401k does not represent freedom.
Yeah. So, yeah, again, what win, and like which of these wins is sort of like, well, which one applies? So we'll get into that.
I already said that.
That's yep. Thanks for taking care of that for us.
I couldn't stand it any longer.
But also, like, then after that, it's okay. You think one of these strategies is applicable? What do you do? And then hopefully, and so we can get into both of those examples, Kevin. So I would definitely share that. And assuming there's time,
Do we want to?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's where we're going.
What?
Unless you want to get
What I
in,
just said?
yeah,
Oh, I thought we were trying to wrap it up and get to questions.
nope. Unless you want to.
No. I am not used to getting to do what I want to on the show, so I probably shouldn't get started now.
So to me, I think, especially since we need to wrap it up and it's complicated, I don't think we try to rush the wrap up and then rush to get into a question. It's 4-segment. Yeah. So I would let's just
Okay.
keep going with the content.
Let's do it.
So yeah. All right. 4-segment. Here we go. Thanks for being here. This is the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group. My name is Mike Bernard. With me in the KFG studios, my business partners and fellow CFPs, Kevin Korhorn and Josh Gregory. Every episode of the Wise Money Show is on podcast. Wherever you listen, go search the Wise Money Show. Subscribe to it there. Rate the program there as well. We appreciate it. You can share it there also. Okay, guys, complicated stuff. We've been talking about the Backdoor Roth IRA and the Mega Backdoor Roth IRA. If you could only take away one thing from this, it's not, well, am I going to be able to pass the quiz? Am I going to be able to pass the test on how these things work, the intricate details? No. The one thing is, all right, work with a certified financial planner. Their job, their entire aim, their goal is to bring clarity and confidence to your financial life, where you are today, where you're going, clarity and confidence, but also help you with creative strategies, come up with creative strategies, things that maybe you weren't aware of, ways to help get from where you are to where you want to be, either faster or with less risk, something like that. These are 2 creative strategies. Again, you don't need to be an expert in them. They're really super hard to explain. Lots of if, then, watch out for that. So work with your CFP. And hopefully you've got to make sure they're doing comprehensive financial planning. Hopefully they're working with your CPA or helping with your tax preparation themselves as well. So now that we know the Backdoor Roth, the Mega Backdoor Roth, head-to-head, which one wins?
As said earlier, Mike.
I completely disagree. No, so what's the name of the game? The name of the game, you guys said earlier when you tried to steal my middle name, and that is, how can I get as much money growing tax-sheltered and tax-free for my financial future? Right?
Yeah. And I would, taking a planning perspective, though, I would say I want to get as much of the money that's designated for my financial future. Because if you listen to this, you might think, oh, well, I just got to go do this. Maybe you should, but maybe you shouldn't. Because it has to fit with your financial plan.
Yeah.
And in a vacuum, any of these things are beautiful. But the question is, in the context of your financial life, in your financial plan, in your retirement plan, when do I need the money? Where does this fit, or does it not?
Yeah, agreed.
I would not lose sight of another principle that you often hear us talk about on this show, and that is having a tax diversified approach to using those tax shelters. If you had literally every single dollar in a Roth vehicle of some sort, that might be nice to know that, hey, you're never paying taxes on any of your retirement nest egg out there in the future. And neither are your kids or grandkids, whoever inherits some extra dollars. But it may or may not be really the most optimal thing. If you're someone who is very charitable, for example, you have the desire to, during your lifetime and maybe even after your lifetime, benefit some mission, some organization, a charitable entity of some sort, then having all your money in a Roth may not be ideal, because essentially what you've done is you've gone ahead and paid the tax at some point during your lifetime, taxes that could have been avoided by leaving the money to that charity who doesn't pay tax. And so, I used to think, the more money in a Roth, the better. But then I have encountered people along the way. They come to work with us and they've already got all of their money in a Roth. And they're missing out on some tax planning opportunities, actually.
Yeah.
Just by not being diversified. So I agree with what you were saying, though, Kevin. Your tax plan needs to be fully integrated into your overall financial plan. It needs to be guided by your retirement objective, your timeline, that sort of thing. The longer that this money is going to be growing for you, the more powerful it is with a Roth account, because all that growth, again, is tax-free. So some of this, like we have to have a conversation, or you need to have a conversation with your certified financial planner about what is your time horizon. I just ran into a client recently who's going to retire much earlier than most of his peers because of the line of work he's in. He's in in education. He's going to retire probably around 50.
Wow.
And for him, having all of his money in either a traditional retirement plan or a Roth retirement plan may not be perfectly ideal, because he might actually need to access some retirement nest egg type money before either of those vehicles even would allow him to do so. So there's third options, there's fourth options often for you. And so to just believe that the more money into a Roth, the better, that may be good, not great.
That actually wasn't the battle we were played, but thank you. I'm just kidding.
We injected a third competitor here.
I'm totally kidding.
Mike just got the Kleenex box and he's wiping away the tear.
Well, yeah, I gave you guys a compliment on joining the Roth side, and I got to take it back, but just kidding. No. So all of this bends to your financial plan, which bends to your goals. Right? You need to be working with the CFP that's doing comprehensive financial planning. That's how you determine which of these strategies make sense. Now, presuming they do, and you've got the resources and it's available, if both are available, the Mega Backdoor Roth, you can do more.
Bigger is better.
You
right?
can do more. And yet people aren't aware of that. People aren't taking advantage of it when they should. And so, now, don't get us wrong. A backdoor Roth IRA makes a ton of sense as well. However, it has that major pitfall of, if you already have pre-tax money in there, it gets a little more complicated, or it delays some of the benefit. So, my opinion, Mega Backdoor Roth, again, everything equal, and it makes sense in your financial life, Mega Backdoor Roth.
But for the vast majority of people listening, Mega Backdoor is not going to be available to them because the retirement plan doesn't have it baked in as an option.
So that's where I would go next. If you're listening to this, number one, kudos. Like, we should send out like ribbons or stars or something, because this has been it wasn't intended to be this complicated of a show. So if you've made it this far and you're thinking, yeah, I think I probably need to consider one of these. What do you do next? Kevin, run, don't walk to your CFP.
Yes.
I mean, you're going to need to explore these details to say, all right, are they a good fit for you? But if you think they are, you need to be working with your CFP that's doing comprehensive financial planning, that's doing tax planning with you.
Yes, and remember that you can contribute to both a 401k, whether that's, again, remember I have three choices: pre-tax, after-tax, or Roth. So I can do a 401k and I can do an IRA. And in both of those accounts, both those sections of the IRS tax code have different limits, and you want to understand what the limits are and how to maximize the advantage.
So, sir, see what he did? He just said there's no battle. Do both of them. You should
right.
do both. Maybe you should, but you got to work with your
yeah,
CFP, see if you have resources, see if this is the job. Now, what if you've hung with us and you're listening to this and saying, I'm nowhere near this, guys. I'm struggling to contribute 6% to my 401k. You guys are talking about maxing it out. Gosh, I mean, again, you get 2 ribbons then for hanging with us if you're not there. But it's okay. I don't listen to any of this saying I must be doing something wrong because I can't consider either of these. No way. Work with your certified financial planner wherever you're at. Identify what your priorities are and get going.
Yeah, because if you can only do 6%, that's your 6%. That to you, that's all the money in the world. Perfect. Let's figure out, should that go on the Roth side?
Yes.
Should that go on the pre-tax side? Should that, if your company match is less than 6%, should all that money be going into your 401k? Or should you carve some of that out to go into a Roth IRA or traditional IRA? So there are all kinds of decisions that need to be made. And we've worked with tons of folks that have showed up and said, all I can do is 6%. That's fine. All I can do is none percent. It doesn't matter. Start where you are and take your next wise step in your financial life.
I love that. And, just listening to you talk about all of these implied or necessary questions that may not even be on your radar. And that's the whole point of financial planning. It's to help you uncover the questions that maybe you're not even asking. And because you're not asking them, you're not taking action or making a decision on them. And often that is the decision, right?
Yeah.
You're foregoing opportunities and things. And so your certified financial planner is there to help you ask the right questions and then answer them in the context of your financial plan.
Every time we take over a 401k as the advisor on that plan, we inevitably find people that are putting pre-tax money into the 401k that are paying 0 federal income taxes. And so this happens, and you want to be aware.
That's right. Okay, guys, we did it. We explained both of them and declared a winner, but also declared your next step. Work with your certified financial planner. Explore these strategies. Which ones make sense for you? That's all the time we have for today. We'll see you next Saturday for the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group.
Securities offered through Silver Oak Securities, member FINRA/SIPC. Advisory services offered through KFG Wealth Management, LLC. Doing business as Korhorn Financial Group. KFG Wealth Management, LLC and Silver Oak Securities Incorporated companies are unaffiliated.